That part. Baby, a mom doing it all. A mom doing it all.
That's
Okay.
right.
So before we get started on the real questions, okay,
Hmm.
we about to have a more bet, which is an icebreaker. Got random
Ah,
questions in
okay.
here. So let's see what the universe has for us.
Okay.
Uh-oh, one popped out. Let's see.
All right. Drum roll,
Okay.
please.
Drum roll. Okay, not too bad. So if you received 100K for
Mhm.
Christmas, what's the first thing you would do with it?
So the first thing I would do with my 100K is automatically pay off all my debt. Reason being, I think outside of when I stepped into the financial space, anytime I got any source of like extra income that wasn't my own and it was almost gifted, I would go buy bundles. I would go buy a bag. I'd go buy a watch, clothes from Shein, Fashion Nova. But now it's almost, I'm in a reality where I've become woke in terms of what is needed in terms of financial space wise. And again, like I'm somebody that as a as an advocate in what I do, I have to almost practice what I preach.
Mm.
So if I have 100K, the first thing I'm going to be able to pay off is my car. My car is still being financed. At least I would get that out of the way. Then I only take care of my car insurance. And then any other bills that are in between that I can pay off or at least be able to pay like my parents back, whatever, they would get that sum. And then I would just have it in my mind that money's a flow of currency. What
Whew.
comes in will come right back. So
Oh, y'all heard that, huh? A flow of currency.
yes.
Hi, Kim. Like that is so great that you say, you don't spend your money no more on, watches, material things because
Yes.
how is that gonna how are we getting value from that? When we
Hmm.
think about it. So now you're
Yeah.
being more intentional about how you spend your money,
Exactly.
how you use your
Exactly.
money. Come on,
Hmm.
girl. And
Yeah.
look,
That's
that's why we
totally
got
gonna be
Philly
the
here.
first thing. I'm like, yeah, the first thing is gonna go towards the debt. And then obviously if I have stuff left over, I'm gonna be in a space to obviously be able to invest my money, right? And I would go towards things that I'm educated about, learn more things about, inquire. And I always tell my clients as well, please ask questions. Don't just assume that one thing sounds great and then that's the type of
That's
product
it.
that's for you. I'm the queen of asking questions. If I don't get it, I'm not gonna buy it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my take on that. Yeah.
Ooh, all right. I'm excited, y'all. Because just the wisdom of you just answering that question, like
Aw,
I'm just so
thanks.
excited on what I can learn from you because Miss
Yes.
Philly, she dropping the gems, okay? So let's get into it. So tell us about how you ended up in finance anyway. Like how did you what was that journey like?
Yes, I actually love telling this story a lot.
Yes.
So, what happened was, like I mentioned to you guys before, I have three children. And with my first two, my pregnancy was normal as ever can be. You know, my period just never came. I took my test, went to the doctor's, great. Now, with baby last, and I'm heavy on the baby last because I promise you I'm not going to go again for now.
Yeah.
But with baby last, I didn't find out the traditional way. I actually found out at 5 months that I was pregnant.
Five
Yeah.
months.
And what's so crazy about it was I was still getting my cycles. And with all my kids, I've never had morning sickness or anything.
Hmm.
So it was just a matter of I saw the period and I said, okay, like then I'm off the hook. Mind you, I don't know if you guys have first response in the States, but that's something that we have here in terms of like pregnancy test wise.
Uh-huh.
First response has never failed me, guys. I should sue them because
Oh.
the first three tests all told me negative. It was up until the fourth one that I found out that it was positive.
Uh-huh.
And when I found out that I was pregnant off of the fourth test, I just assumed, okay, you know what, maybe again, I'm like 68 weeks. That's my window.
Yeah.
Girl, I go to do my ultrasound. I'm seeing limbs. I'm seeing a wee wee. And I'm doing
Oh.
my calculation. And you know what? In Canada, like we're so fortunate to have maternity leave where you can have either it be a year or you can
Oh,
have it for 18 months. Yeah,
oh
I've heard in the States you
gosh.
guys only have like 3 months or something. But over here,
Yeah.
we do have it either for a year or 18 months. So with how it works, you can either start your mat leave whenever or you can start as closest to your due date as possible. But with what I was doing, like my background comes from medical office admin. So I was a receptionist before stepping into the finance space. So with knowing, okay, you know what, I have only 2 months left to work. I also had just moved out of my parents' place, so that's rent that I still have to come up with, car payment, car insurance. I'm like, I have to reach out to somebody to kind of help me get my finances in order. So I reached out to an advisor who's become my best friend. And I just reached
Oh.
out to her. I said, girl, I've been following you since COVID. I'm in a space where now I feel like my finances are a little bit out of control. I need help. She just simply broke it down to me and said, Philly, three things can happen. A, you either stop your mat leave early, go back to work. B, you do what I do and give it a try. Or C, you do nothing and you're stuck with where you are.
Hmm.
So I'm already gauging it at, you know what, I'm at home for 9 months to a year. What can possibly go wrong just learning about finances? It's not a big deal if I don't try. So within that program, I joined like at least the education space when I was 7 months. And within the 7 months, it was just like a little bit like iffy because again, your water could break at any time. So I didn't really like take the time to like study and learn like finances, but I always made sure I showed up to the meetings, that I
Mm-hmm.
did my trainings. Like in terms of being present in different spaces, I made sure I was there. And then the moment I popped my son out, I'm like, okay, where's the laptop? Let's get to studying. Let's get
Oh,
to
let's
passing
get
these exams.
that quick.
So yeah, so it took me 4 months to get my license, but if I just think of once I popped out my son, it only took me 2 months. And one thing that I really liked about being in this space was everything happens for a reason, and what's for you is for you. I want
Mhm.
anybody that's on the call to understand you may think that so many opportunities may pass you. I'm telling you, your timing and your calling will come to you when the time is right. So ironically, this opportunity came to me times before, but I was so young. Like, who wants to learn about finances at 19? You're thinking about YOLO, you're trying to pop
Yep.
bottles in the club, whatever,
I'm trying
right?
to have fun.
You get what I'm saying? Like, as a
Yes.
young adult, then I didn't care. But stepping into the space that I'm in now, like, I am transitioning into my 30s. And you know what? Lucky for me as well, like, I'm a firstborn Canadian. I've never had the space where I came from back home to be planted in a country. So I had that one
Mm.
up. But again, thinking about, like, you guys understand, like, motherly instinct, like, being a mom first, I have no choice but to put my kids ahead of what I'm already going through. So it's just more of, I just need to find a business that I can run that's my own and I have control over. And I just feel like educating people about finances as well,
Hmm.
honestly, it's so fun. As long as the person's open and willing and transparent, then it's just, I'm at that point, I'm just basically your extended cousin that you're always going to invite because
Yes.
we're locked in, right? So that's
Okay.
basically
That
my
part.
story. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is
Yeah.
so crazy. In 5 months, still putting your energy into your future
Yeah.
for not only you, but your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Philly. What? Oh my
I'm
gosh.
not gonna lie to you, I wanted to barf because I'm just like, there's no way I'm pregnant again. But everything happens for a reason. And you know what?
Yes.
Me having my son as well, it gave me the opportunity again to find a job that I can work from home because a lot of you may not know unless you come on my page. My dad actually suffered a stroke in the midst of me studying, right? So if I had just worked my regular receptionist job, it's either I work but I don't watch my dad, or I watch my dad and I don't bring in the income, right? So you know what, like, again, if anybody's in a space right now where like the tunnel's so dark and they don't see or understand why things are happening the way that it is, it's just trust God, because that was something that I always had in my corner to make sure that like he will not fail me, he will not give
Mm-hmm.
me something that I couldn't handle, all that fun stuff. So you know what, in the midst of just going through that, it was hard, I'm not gonna lie to you, but if I look back at it in hindsight, I'm so grateful that things happening at certain times because it just aligned me for my destiny. So
Come on.
yeah.
Everything's in alignment. Like you, like I don't know about the viewers, but you are definitely speaking to me. You are
Yeah.
definitely speaking to me because like this week was
Hey.
something, but for real, we got God in our corner.
Always.
Always in our corner.
Yeah,
My
always, always.
God, you got to just keep pushing. I know
Mhm.
things be hard, but like you
That's right.
said, you got to just keep pushing, man.
Yeah, as long as you guys remember that God is your cheerleader and the devil wants us you to tumble, like, it's okay. Like, I just look at it through good, through bad, God will never fail me, and that's just what it is. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ooh, y'all, we going to service too, y'all, right here. Okay. So, Philly, you have to let us know what services do you provide for those who want to learn and who want to be on
Yeah.
a level like you as well.
Yes. So when it comes to financial literacy, there's so many pillars that like fall into it. But just to give you guys a general idea, I take care of banking services, insurance services, and investment services. That's ideally what I take care of. Everybody's stepping stones are a little bit different. So some people will come to me and say, "Hey, Philly, I only want to talk about investments." No problem. But one thing that I like to teach people a lot is like when it comes to the finance space, we have so many sectors that look at different things, but we don't have that one company that takes a look at everything as a whole, right? So that's an approach that I take into consideration. I care for a lot because you know what? A topic that I spoke about yesterday was like cash flow. A lot of the
Hmm.
things that we do eats our cash flow, but nobody looks at, hey, well, what you have left over, what can you build for the future? So that's something that I particularly um have such a strong like binding towards, because I feel like once you understand what your cash flow is, then you're able to see, okay, you know what, I can build up my savings in 2 years. I can
Hmm.
buy a house in 1 year. I can do this in this time, right? And I think when it comes to the society that we're in as well, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of us are so used to instant gratification. We're in a society where we tap, tap, tap,
Yeah.
e-transfer this. You get what I'm saying? It's so quick and so
Yeah.
easy. So I know for people when they like when it comes to financial services, it's so hard for them to reach out to somebody because a lot of them too, they're not authentic, right? One main reason why I stepped into this space is due to representation. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope I don't offend anybody on the call, but there's not a lot of Africans, people of color that have a sense of genuine heart to be able to put
Yeah.
other families ahead. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not really big on, oh, you know what, if you get this, I know that my commission will pay out. It's like if I just see it from the cash flow, the money's not there, I will not give you something. I will rather just educate you and teach you, and then we'll circle back in 6 months. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I like I'll even give you guys a really quick story. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you
Come
guys
on.
have a registered education savings plan in the States, but we have one here. So the lady that set up my kids' policy, which was the first two, very nice. I had no problem with her. Very nice white lady, whatever. But I never told her that I was doing this. It was something that I just wanted to keep to myself. Be able to
Hmm.
see, okay, did she omit certain information just due off of like a demographic? You know, like does she look at me like, oh, you're a young black mom, so maybe this is not like important. That was just some things that I was just thinking. So I had seen like two clients where they said, "Hey, the firms that we have our RSP with our kids, we don't like it," and it kind of just made me feel a little bit uneasy because I'm like, "Oh, my kids' education's money's in there." So
Hmm.
then what I did was I just pulled it out and put it in with my workplace. Come see the way she's talking to me in my text messages. I promise you, as an agent myself, I would never, ever, ever word a message where I would tell the parent, "Your kids would be so ashamed of you for money." It really rubbed me the wrong way, and I was just like, "I'm not gonna answer you, I'm not gonna," and, you know,
Uh,
and stuff like that
you're
matters
not gonna
to me a lot
respond.
because even in terms of, like, the stuff I post in terms of content, it's like, "Okay, if this was me on a consumer side, how would I be able to break this down? How would these concepts make sense for me?" And it's just
Hmm.
one of those ones where I just wanna make sure I exude a nice, approachable, accessible type of personality and aura. That way, it's not so nerve-wracking to be, "Hey, can you help me?" I know a lot of times as well when people see advisors, they charge a fee and all those things. Like me personally, I feel like if you're passionate about what you do, the money shouldn't be on the forefront all the
The
time. I get
forefront.
you do have to pay your bills, that's fine, I get it. But again, if it's something that you genuinely love and care about, the money will come and it's okay. You get what I'm saying? So that's my little spiel. But in a nutshell,
Mhm.
banking, investments, insurance, that's my tier.
Whoo, y'all! I'm telling y'all, Philly is doing her thing, and I love the fact that you talk about authenticity. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's so important
Yeah.
to get that, to build that rapport with your
Hmm.
clients and things like that.
Hmm.
And because of your experience, you know what not to do and how you
Correct.
want to basically address it,
Yeah,
and address it people. And
100%.
if you guys look on her page, you guys, it's very, very clean, very easy to
Thanks.
read. Like for
Yeah.
real, it's very inviting. I love it.
Mhm.
Like when
Thank
I looked at it,
you.
I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I was so excited that you said yes to the 12 days of giving because
Yeah.
your energy, like even through like she gets on, like you do your reels and stuff, and you really
Yeah.
show yourself. And I think that's Philly, you are doing it. Like you are doing it.
Thanks.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes, honey. So talk to me about some common and uncommon, common like financial situations that you've actually experienced when you deal with clients as a financial advisor.
Oh, yeah. So things that I see common for sure is people underestimate the value that they bring to their family. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll share a story with you guys to elaborate what I mean. So, as an example, I share with you guys, I'm a mom of three. I have three cute minions, whatever. And I don't know if you guys have GoFundMe down there, but we have GoFundMe
We do.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, obviously, if somebody had like an untimely passing, that's something that
Oh.
we would have, you know, to just make sure that
Mhm.
you cover the family. So I've never learned about investing, you know, like I can always go on Wealth Simple, you know, at the time cryptocurrency was big. I was doing that by myself, but again, instant gratification wasn't taking me where I needed to go. So when I met with the advisor, she was asking me, okay, Philly, like, do you have proper protection? And I was like, oh no, you know, if I die, all it takes is one person to make a GoFundMe page and my family will get the
And we
money.
good. We
I
good.
promise you, if it
Yeah.
wasn't screen to screen, she would have backed me up on the call. I promise you, because
Ooh.
she was looking at me like, Philly, that is so irresponsible of you. You have 3 kids and you don't have insurance. And I look at her like, no one ever talked to me that it was that serious, you know? So now me being in the soul space of when I see people and they also underestimate like the power of insurance, it's like, okay, now I understand why my advisor was so upset with me. I don't get upset with them as well. And I don't want you guys to think that she was like so upset, but it's just a matter of the lack of education is so important. And you know what? Being like a Afro-centric person, you know what? Money already is a taboo type of conversation.
Yeah.
My parents never came to me and said, hey, this is how you save, this is how you stack your bet. It was just a matter of you work hard and save your money. If you're in debt, you can't bring it up to your family that you're in debt. You're gonna put on that smile and be like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
everything's okay, I have
I'm
savings.
good. I'm good
But I
over
don't have
here.
no savings. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
the things that I see that are so common is just either lack of savings or lack of protection. I think people underestimate it, but it's not their fault because it kind of stems from who's your teacher to be able to like open your eyes and understand, oh, this is the blueprint to doing this and this is the blueprint to doing that. So being in this finance space honestly got me to a level where I feel like I've elevated myself between a year. And I'm so happy that it came when it did as well, because again, I'm transitioning to my 30s. The type of habits and little small things that I was doing then, I'm in a space where I'm really trying my best to not repeat it now. And you know what? You know
Yeah.
what they say: old habits die hard, and they do. But if you're like honestly so open and disciplined and determined, I feel like you can literally overtake anything. And one thing that I love about my office a lot is that it's very multicultural,
Oh, I love
and
it.
it's an inviting space to be transparent when you're feeling down, right? Like one commandment I'm gonna share with you guys. We have 10, but like number 6 is like my number one, is
Mm-hmm.
never let your challenges become your identity. I'm not
Whew.
gonna lie to you. We have moments where life is lifing, but it's like, how long do you want to sit in that type of mindset? Before you know it,
Right.
a month has passed, 3 months, a year, and
A
then you're gonna kick
year.
yourself in the butt because you didn't get yourself out of the gutter, you know? So November, like I have some friends that already know, like November was already like a rough month for me last
Mhm.
year. So to sit in it, I'm just happy it's even December. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so happy it's December
Yeah.
because November just honestly makes me sick. But it's like again, it's me versus me. And I think a lot of times, even in the finance space, that's something that a lot of people have a hard time adjusting, that it's them versus them. But then again, I'm like that torch, the flashlight, you know, that little nice beam to let them know, hey,
Uh-huh.
forgive yourself for the past. Let's
Yeah.
keep our head up and move forward. In your future, you will thank you for trying. So
Give yourself grace. Give
that's right.
yourself
That's all you
grace.
can do. Yeah.
Oh my God. And be and like you said, it's me versus myself. Like,
Period.
period. A
Yeah.
period. So
Yeah.
what do you feel like? Okay, so I know on like Instagram we see a lot of like financial advisors or
Yeah.
people spilling out like different teas and stuff. What
Mm-hmm.
are some, I would say, I know this is not a question we talked about, but it just popped in my head. Like, what are some things that you agree with, and what are some things, like maybe 3 things that you agree with, or and then 3 things that you disagree with?
Oh, okay. So for one, I really hate clickbait information. I feel like the
Mm.
way some people on the internet like to decorate things leaves the floor open to have someone become so hesitant or to make somebody not want to continue with their finances. That part, me personally, I don't like it. I feel like little things that are like intricate, that I feel like deserves to be on a one-on-one basis. But again, to each their own. If people feel like, hey, you want to post this information, they feel like that will reel them in, great.
Mhm.
But to be honest with you, I feel like investing and insurance is such a touchy topic, especially if it's you're dealing with somebody that already had a bad experience. So there's some of the things that me personally, those are the things that I don't like. It can get a little bit saturated in the sense that if I am just speaking on general information, what's the difference between me and your average other person that's speaking about the same thing? You know, it's like there's no different. But I just feel like again, if you just exude authentic like personality about you, or like you address your following as a community as well, I feel like that already takes it a notch. So like for me, as an example, when I post my stuff, I always address my following as a community. I
Yep.
pretend that I'm the little mayor that's running my program, and
Yep.
then I have
I
my
love it.
citizens by my side, and they rock with me, you know. So one thing that I like to do as an example is like, you know, like just as of lately, I make little nice hearty videos where like I'll put my kids on there,
Mhm.
because I feel like when it comes to financial spaces, again, you're so used to the blazer
The
sets and the,
seriousness.
you know,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's all about attracting the market, the right market. Great, that's fine. But again, then I just feel like that takes me out of who I am personally, and then I just feel like I'm not myself. I tried so hard already to like do my hair a little bit nice. And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like I'm a mom. I have nice, healthy hair. It's okay.
Yep.
I could do it up, like, you
Yep.
know, and it's fine. Like to each their
Yep.
own. But it's just more like in terms of things that I'm not a fan of. It's just like certain clickbait information that almost makes me feel like they're misleading the client. But things that I do generally like is when people do take the time to like break down certain concepts. But then again, all of our attention spans honestly is not the longest. So if I see something that I watch it already for 30 seconds and it's not given, I'm gonna swipe up. Like
Yep. Yep.
that's
On to
just
the
what it
next.
is. Exactly. So what I like to do for myself, honestly, is I like to just break things down into series. And I actually personally like to put in
Oh.
my IG stories rather than it being on my main feed.
Okay.
Because you know what, a lot of people tap into IG stories. I don't know if you guys know that, but for me personally, I think that's something that a lot of people look at more.
Mhm.
And it's quick, 2 3 sentences. I put a poll, like 56% said this. Then it's like it gives me an opportunity to just like, talk to people one on one, and that's one thing that I care about the most. Just
Mm.
sustaining a relationship, rather it just be client and whatever that person is. I don't like that. I just want to make sure that I'm locked in with them, that it's sincere. I remember birthdays. Hey, you mentioned that you were doing this for your daughter. How did it go? Like I just care about that part because I think that carries a whole lot of weight.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, y'all. This is y'all. I'm trying to. Hey, after this call, can I book? Can I book? Like seriously, Philly. Like that's. And then you could tell, like, just from your demeanor and how you're talking, like you're passionate about what you're
Aw,
doing. You're not
thanks.
the average financial advisor, like you said, with the suits, the ties. Like you're very
Yes.
personable, and the
Yeah.
fact that you just saying like that you want people to feel. Look, I ain't
Yeah.
trying to put on a show for you. Ain't no reason for me to put on a show. You're gonna take me as I
Yeah.
am, and I actually take you at you take your clients, your community
Yeah.
as they
Mhm.
are. You remember their birthdays. Look, that's
Yeah, no,
going
that's a
over
big
and beyond.
thing. That's a big thing. Like, the moment I sit down with somebody, I'm like, "Okay, when's your birthday?" Because I gotta put in a client portfolio. "Oh, my birthday's is this." I'm like, "You're a Libra?" I'm like, "You know what? You Libras are so spicy, but Imma still work with you though." But I
Yeah.
just know how
Okay.
to articulate myself and share, you know? So, like, I don't know if you guys are on the call that are, like, horoscope conscious, but me personally, if I know that you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, I already know how to deliver, like, certain messages, information. I know how to consider if I have to even tell you bad news. I know how to like, you know, portray in a way that it's not cold and then on to the
Yeah.
next, you know? Like I care about those things. And believe it or not, a lot of them care. Out of all the signs I've dealt with, anyways, the Libras are the ones that care the most because they're the most emotional based, I feel.
Yeah.
And I have a daughter that's a Libra anyway. So like to me, it's just easier to know, okay, this is a Libra female. I know how to carry out this information. Or I know how to take my time with this person. But again, sometimes too, what you guys don't realize for myself, I'll ask about like birth order. Are you first? Are you baby last? Because that will also tell me as well, okay, if you're the firstborn, you already know how to handle responsibility. You know, if I
Yep.
give you homework, you're gonna come back and say, "Hey, Philly, I wasn't able to get the 10 out of 10, but I have the 6 out of 10." Great. I know a baby last. You know, some of them they're a little bit spoiled base, right? So I know, okay, for the baby last, I got to be a little bit stern to let them know, hey, these are the goals that you mentioned. Let's keep that in the forefront and work towards those things. So yeah, I just subconsciously break certain things down that I think that other people don't do, and then in the long run, I can tell that it means a lot. So even as an example, like I dropped budget sheets, and
Yes, y'all.
the sole purpose of me dropping the budget sheets was I realized when I was giving people their homework to track, hey, let's see if we can stay within this bracket for the month. It's like, okay, Phil, you're giving me great things, but what am I following it on, right? So I'm like, okay, I need to figure out a system that way it benefits them, that they're able to actually track it. We can both see it on the call and we can track it together. Rather, I'm just taking their word for it, but maybe they're not doing anything, right? So
Yeah.
You know what I feel like as adults, we're not big on accountability, and that's something that I feel like is honestly so important. And if you don't
Mhm.
even have that in your friends, like in terms of a core group, I feel like when people aren't used to it, it just
Mhm.
repels them. It just rubs them the wrong way. They don't like how the information's being told to them, and I think sometimes that sucks. But again, as long as you have like emotional intelligence, you know how to like take things, understand, hey, this is not coming from a place of hate, or maybe just take this with a grain of salt, they'll go far. So those are some things that I just check every quarter. Then I'm like, okay, what can I do different? What can I make sure I can impact better? How can I help this
Mhm.
person? And then I just take it as I go. I take a look at the things that are active, whatever's not active. Maybe I can recreate it and do it like this. But I try not to take too much on my head again because like I have the kids too as well. But
Yeah.
those are just some things that I just generally like to consider and then just make sure that at least from a client end that they are honestly okay.
Ugh. What I y'all Philly, like you're for real Philly, like your attention to detail,
Yeah.
like you go as deep as horoscopes, as deep as
Yeah.
knowing like, okay, this is how I can address them. You're
Yes.
very intentional about what you say and who you're conversing with.
Mhm.
Like that's top tier. Like that is
Yeah.
top tier. Like I'm trying to figure out, anybody in the comments ever experienced that before? I can tell you right now, I have never experienced someone who is that in detail
Same.
with.
I
Oh my
noticed in
gosh.
the comments, like, there's 2 questions. So for Regina Thomas, I don't know what an RIRA is in the States to compare it down here. So that I'll probably like Google and like come back and check to see. I don't know if that's like more of like a retirement thing
It
or I
is.
don't know if it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so down here, in Canada, we have something that's called an RSP. So we have an RSP vehicle, and then we also have a tax-free savings account. So depending on how your circumstance is and how much you make in terms of an income, the IRA may be beneficial for you to use, or you may have to use different investing vehicles if you're trying to avoid like taxation, right? So those are things that I'm now even walking into the space of like
Mm.
investment vehicles. But again, because again, a lot of the people that I see, they're coming from a place where they're in debt and they're just trying to literally get out in the
Mhm.
midst of competing against inflation, right? So those are some of the things that I'm like,
Shoot.
you know what? We may not be here right now, but give it 2, 3 years. I promise you we'll get there. Right now, and I really like using the analogy of a tree. Obviously, when we plant the tree seed, it takes years for it to grow its foundation. But then
Mhm.
when the tree is fully built, leaves are nice and plucking, you're like, wow, nothing can literally, other than somebody chopping the tree down, nobody can strike it. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I like using the analogy of a tree because it takes time to grow wealth. And I think a lot of people, again, if we're coming from that instant gratification mindset,
I
people
was just
don't
about
have
to
the
say that.
patience. They don't have the patience to tolerate that. And again, it's okay. But somebody like me, and you know what? I want people to understand, even when it boils down to entrepreneurship, I can never knock a 9 to 5 because those 9 to 5 jobs teach us these things to become entrepreneurs. Believe it or not, I've been at Tim Hortons for like 5 years and I'm so used to people cussing me about ice caps. You burnt my bagel and I didn't even burn your bagel. I'm just a girl that I just took your money,
That's
and
it.
those things build skills. So
It does.
sometimes when I see people also say, like, Philly, like, I'm trying to find a side hustle. Again, it just boils down to what are you passionate about and do you have the patience to literally hang on to the lows and be able
Yep.
to ride the highs. Like, I feel like all those moving pieces make a difference in terms of tapping into an entrepreneur space. But in terms of the IRA, like I said before, it just depends on what you make annually in terms of your job. And if opening that retirement account isn't beneficial, then I would suggest using different vehicles to at least be able to avoid the taxation. But again, it just depends. Like, everybody's
Yeah.
situation is
Cause
different.
cause I know down here, like, you do get taxed when you try to take money out.
Yes, you
So
suffer
yeah.
penalties. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have it down there, like if you're able to use your contributions towards home ownership. Down
Mm.
here, if you put the money inside of an RSP, you are able to use that money on a down payment on a house, but you just have to be
Ooh.
remember to be mindful to pay it back within 15 years. Otherwise, you obviously will get in trouble because again, it's a retirement savings plan, so it's meant for your elderly stages. It's not supposed to be used for the houses, but there's loopholes, right? So
Yeah.
those are some of the things that I'm teaching these people now. I've been working with them for a year. I'm telling them, hey, this is where you were before. We've increased the cash flow, great. We've minimized the debt, even better. Now let's look into what is our retirement gonna look like. I personally don't want to be
Mhm.
working when I'm 65, not even
Okay.
75. You get what I'm saying? And again,
Yep.
time is time can either be your greatest ally or your best friend. So it's just a matter of which do you want to sit? Do you want to be on the left or do you want to be on the right? So
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, no
Cool.
problem,
Cool.
Regina. No problem.
Yes, because you really are like that's knowledge for me. Thinking about
Mhm.
there are other vehicles besides what is maybe publicized. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's
So
right.
it's probably important for us to do our research as well
Oh,
on the different
100%.
vehicles.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, you see, it came with just me just taking a chance, right? Like your average person wouldn't know these things unless they look. So, you know what? Like that question was honestly really great. And I'm glad I was able to help even if I'm not even directly in the same country, because I know every country has different laws
Yeah.
around money. But I know for the most part, in terms of retirement wise, there's some like loopholes and things that you can get around, but that was like one thing. I know 9 Elmore had another one. It was pinned and I didn't
Yeah, I
realize.
pinned it. I'm about to go
Yeah,
back
there was
up for you
yes, there was one that they mentioned about the job. So this is
about
one
the
thing that I tell
insurance.
people. Yes. So
Let
when
me
I
see.
see people and they say, "Hey, I don't want private insurance. I have work insurance." The first thing I say is, "Great. Congratulations, you're one step ahead." The problem is people don't realize that if you have work insurance, the moment you quit or you get laid off, there goes that policy as well. Now you
Yep.
no longer have it, and that's considered a term policy. So I
Mm.
usually highly encourage people to have something of their own, and I always use the example of Monopoly. A lot of us know how to play it. Some either like the game and some don't like the game. My
Mm.
job as an educator is to make sure you enjoy playing Monopoly in real life. The more things you own, the better it is for you and your family. So if you want to
Ooh.
leave it in somebody's hands where they can dictate that, hey, you just suffered a critical illness and we're not going to give you a payout, you played that, you rolled your die. You get what I'm saying? But if you have things of your own where you know your terms of conditions, you know what you're qualified for and what you are not qualified for, then you're up. Then you know, okay, you know what? I didn't qualify for this because somebody in my family has diabetes. Let me build my savings, right? And
Mm.
you know, we all experienced COVID, and I think COVID was one of the things that like gave me my big aha, where I was like, I can't work for somebody and I can't depend on the government. I was on mat leave
Yep.
at the time, and waiting on that every 2 weeks income was just not it for me, and it was just a matter of finding something that stuck. So I already know there's so many levels that are unlocked to finances. And again, I found someone that spoke it in my language, and now it's just my turn to reiterate the same. So I usually highly encourage people to get their own, um,
Mhm.
assess everything holistically. So don't look at it like, okay, like for example, I don't know if 9 Elmore has kids or not, but I always tell people insurance needs are a difference between a young adult, someone that's a little bit more older, and a senior. Seniors only care probably about funeral expenses, no problem. So they'll need a lot. Somebody that has kids, they will need a lot because if something happened to me, someone has to be able to mind my children, right? Or if it's somebody where they have properties, you want to be able to protect your assets. That way, if you die, the government's not seizing your property. And now, you get what I'm saying? Like, again, there's just so many levels to like things. And again, if somebody's not there to teach you free game, you won't know. So I highly
Nobody.
encourage you, literally. So I highly encourage you if you don't have something of your own, 9 Elmore, go get it because again, it takes one employer to say, "Hey, we've had budget cuts, we have to let you go, and now you don't
Yeah.
have insurance." You get what I'm
Wow.
saying?
And I
So,
pinned it back too if you want to see the whole
oh, I
question.
see it. Yes,
Yep.
I see it. And then I know they said one more. What do you
Yep.
think of debt snowball method? Is it a great way to get out of debt? So I actually use this method a lot. But the reason why I use this method is because I'm able to pay attention to the cash flow and I know what the debt situation looks like. So again, if this is somebody where they are only solely invested in investing and they don't pay attention to the debt, they're not going to understand that, hey, you can come out of this. A lot of times as well, people don't even understand the amplitude of interest rates. So I tell people
Ooh.
it's
Yeah.
honestly not our friend in a debt form. Asset form, great. When it's an investment, when someone's giving you 12% of your money, I love that for you. But if it's in a form of a debt, it's not fun. So I
Mm-mm.
usually like to grab that a lot because then I'm able to say, hey, you know what? So an example, Capital One credit cards. A lot of people have the 300 credit card, Capital One, but they don't know how to even utilize that from a credit standpoint. So I'll
I
tell
got
them,
Capital
hey,
One. Mm.
yeah, no, Capital One is great. Trust me, like once you know what to do, it's really good. But again, some people have that stigma credit cards are bad, so they don't want to use it. So they only focus on debit cards and stuff, right? And again, once I was able to understand how the game worked, I know how to teach people about certain things. So even when it comes to the debt snowball, it's great, but you have to find what your cash flow is. So let's just pretend, as an example, you bring home 1,200 a month. That will let me know, okay, if you have about 35K worth of debt, let's work towards our smallest and go towards the biggest. But what another thing I pay attention to, if one interest rate is higher than the other, then I'll say, you know what? This pot, let's add extra on top of the minimum payment. So now you're attacking interest plus the principal. People don't realize that when you're just paying the minimum balance, you're just paying to just have good credit standing. That's it. You'll notice you'll be paying the same thing for 5 years and now it's doubling against you. There's no point. So when it comes to attacking debt, I feel like a lot of people underestimate the type of layers that we have to uncover as an educator to look and see, okay, you can do this in 5 years, you can do this in 7 years, you can do this in 2 years. And again, it literally dials back to the cash flow. If I see you're like -500, babes, go get a second job. Or sweetie, cut down your expenses, make a sacrifice now so then you can reap the benefits later. So those are all the different kind of things that I look at as a whole. So every situation is different, but I totally recommend that snowball. Fun fact, I think this should have answered the other question. One thing that I see common, girl, is that when people have savings, they don't want to use their savings.
I'm one of those. I'm sorry. I'm one of those.
And you know what? You worked so hard for your dollar. It's like, how dare you, Philly, to tell me to deplete my savings to pay my debt? Right? And I get that a lot, and I tell them, hey, I'm never going to force you to do something you don't like. I'm just here to offer suggestions. But then again, I leave it in their own hands and say, hey, would you rather start over from scratch and be able to build up your savings 2 times quicker, or have your debt work 2 times quicker against you, and now you wish you depleted it the first time to get ahead? You get what I'm saying? So sometimes if the case comes where I look at the savings and I'm like, hey, you can pay this all in one shot. Oh, Philly, no. That's okay, no problem. We can leave that there. But then it's like, it's in your hands. Do you want to work 2 times harder, or do you want to get 2 times faster ahead, right? So those are some of the things that you'll notice off of the way I word things. I'm never going to coerce you. It's always in your own hands. It's just, here's the ball. Take your shot, and then we'll make up the next play. That's just all it is.
Come on. And somebody say bars. Facts.
You guys are so funny.
Bars. Oh my God. Okay, so on your page, I did see Debt Snowball and I did see Debt Avalanche.
That's right.
So what is that? That's new to me.
Yes. So Debt Snowball, you guys know how to make a snowman. We have the snowball in our hand. We roll it in the floor, and then it slowly becomes bigger. So you're working with the smallest, then working towards your biggest, right? But an avalanche is you work towards the biggest form of debt and then work your way towards the smallest. That's just typically how avalanche works. So you guys know when people have those movies and they're like skiing, all of a sudden a little chipmunk hits some type of rock. Now all of a sudden the snow is like plummeting down quick, right? That's visually what I want people to understand. You're going to start with the biggest form of debt, and then you just work your way down to the smallest. That's just all it is, ideally. But a lot of people prefer the debt snowball because it's easier to attack on the like upfront hand if they don't have savings. Avalanche would work if somebody has a lot of savings, but again, if I'm able to assess, and again, I use my emotional intelligence to gauge this person's not really going to deplete their savings, then I normally go with this debt snowball route.
Okay. So I guess it's based on the individual.
Sorry, I'm just telling my...
Hey, kids. I'm assuming that's your kids, huh?
She said hi. Okay, wait for me. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes, okay? Okay. What was the question? I missed it.
Oh, no. I was just saying... Oh, shoot, girl. I just drew a blank. I think... So it's basically based on the individual when it comes down to the avalanche, lynch, or the snowball. Okay. So if I have a good savings, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, y'all do not want to miss her giveaway.
So let's pretend we had a hypothetical appointment, and let's say your debt was about like 12K, and you had 20. I would say, okay, sister girl, this is what we have. This is what we can do. This is what we can do, and this is what we can do. I normally come up with like 3 solutions. I would then let you gauge. I'll let you ponder about it. Once we come back and we debrief, Philly, I know I can do this, but I'm going to go with B. Or Philly, you know what? I don't mind starting from scratch, so I'm going to start with A. So I always leave it in their hands. My job is to just provide solutions and to provide peace of mind. That's all I'm supposed to do.
Question. Do you help people from the U.S.?
I could try.
Okay, because I know
believe
you do virtual too.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So if it gets to a point where like, okay, for at least if it's like a form of service, if it's something that I can't physically do, I would just relay you to a representative of mine. They will just close it and do what they have to do. But as long as I'm able to take care of the foundation, I can sleep at night.
Come on. Basically, y'all, she worldwide, okay? Let that be known. Worldwide, okay?
You're too funny.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So when it comes to, like an individual trying to,
Yeah.
it's just starting, like what
Yeah.
is a priority adjustment or focus you would recommend for a beginner, an intermediate level, and then a advanced level?
Okay, so beginner wise, they just need to understand what are their short term goals, what are their long term goals, what are some things that they've done that they don't want to repeat in the future. I think that's necessarily very important. Somebody that's like in the middle, it almost makes me feel like you mean that they have an idea of finances, but they may be stuck. If that's what you're speaking on in terms of like medium wise or like whatever that level was, same thing. It was just what are your short term goals? What are your long term goals? What are some things that you know? And what are some things that I can elevate your education on to take you to the next level? Then for somebody that is extremely advanced, so again, if they're in a space where they have a whole bunch of assets, or they're very knowledgeable about investments, it's just a matter of, hey, what are things that you have in place currently? And then who can I connect you to again, to be able to build your legacy the right way? Those are some things that I ideally just pay attention to. And then I'm just able to direct them in that route. And then I sleep at night because I know that they're okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh, y'all. Like, I feel like I've had a crash course. I feel like I've had a crash course because baby,
I love that. Yeah.
honestly, Philly, like I was talking to my husband, like we got it. Now we gotta just figure out what are we gonna do with it.
Correct.
How are we gonna build? Like what to do with what we have? Like because we want generational wealth, and it starts with the education. Like getting with somebody we can trust. Because I think that's his biggest thing. Like feeling comfortable with an individual.
Yes.
With our business. With all of that. That's the biggest thing.
I know.
Oh,
you know what it is too?
Philly.
I noticed in the advisor space, and it goes back to what we spoke about literally in the beginning of just being able to identify who's the authentic aura. I feel like that honestly takes that building that relationship to the next level. When you see someone that's so genuine about what they do and they're passionate, it's like, okay, cool. Like now I know I'm gonna refer this person to this person. Imagine when you go to work, guys, I just met with an advisor. She put me on free game. You guys need to book your appointment. It's like that to me was something I experienced. And then I'm just literally trying to pass the baton for other people.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Baby, one thing about Philly, she ain't no gatekeeper.
No, never.
She is a rare piece of gem. You get what I'm saying? She's a rare gem. What?
Yeah, no. You don't get blessed for being a gatekeeper. Like, let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah. You don't.
Yeah.
Bless somebody else. Knowledge is power. What's wrong with it? And it's up to that individual to do whatever they do with what you told them.
Yes.
Girl. I'm loving this interview. I'm loving my time with you. You are really pouring into me and pouring into so many others. Like, yes.
Thanks.
I want to ask you, what advice do you have for people seeking or scared to seek financial advice?
My one piece of advice that I would just say, it's not even one, it would be two. It's just, again, just get comfortable with being transparent. Because let's even go back a couple steps. If I was still in that mindset where I worked my really good paying job and I didn't have that hiccup where I had my other child again, I would have never had the opportunity to meet my advisor. But based off of that, I was at a point where I felt like, you know what, I can't take myself where I need to because I only know so much and it's not working. It's like being able to be transparent and then again, hold myself accountable. I was able to go ahead. You get what I'm saying? So even, I don't know if some people have this type of dynamic with their partners, but like my partner actually met her like 2 months before I reached out to her. So when I told her who he was, she's like, oh, I met him. And now I'm looking at this man like, we could have got somewhere 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would
Yes.
you wait so long? And again, it comes with pride and ego and all those things. And I feel like if that's not something that you can honestly address on your own, you won't be able to go far. Again, like I mentioned to you guys as well, like
Yeah.
I'm human. You know what? There's times where like my challenges do become my identity, but it's like, how long do I want to let it become my identity? It's like after a point in time, it's like really get your head out the gutter, get out, get out. And I
Come
think
on.
for a lot of people with social media, a lot of things are like glitter and glam, but nobody's ever on the platform saying, hey, this was my pitfall. I messed up on this. Nobody really talks about that. So I felt like when I came up with that video where I documented like what life looked like for me for a year, it
Mm-hmm.
shocked a lot of people. Like, you just had a baby plus your dad had a stroke. Like, how do you do it? And it was
Yeah.
like, there's no room to give up. Like, that's
Yep.
just necessarily what it was. So I just want people to know, in terms of like format advice, it's okay to be transparent and it's okay to hold yourself accountable. You know, it's just a matter of just having the right environment. I know a lot of the times it's true. People see it in the rap game, right? Like when they come out the hood, they feel some type of need to go back. And it's like, you know what? When someone's taking you to a place where you're elevating, those who want it will follow you. And the ones that don't, it's okay, leave them there, because
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Just hold you back, you know? And
Yeah.
that's something that I took time to understand. And also, read books. That's something that I just never cared for as a child. And again, just being with like-minded people and being able to pick their brain and being able to grow myself too as an individual, it pays to read books. Obviously, you can dibble dabble, read your little fictional books here and there, but I think it's so impressive when you read books that are pouring to you, especially if you're somebody where you pour into so many people. I highly
Yes.
recommend reading books. You just get a chance to like refill yourself and then be able to spread knowledge again. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
There's so much now. That's the when you think about books, you guys, like you go back into a childhood. You read. They told you to read those books because first off, you learn different words. You
Correct.
sharpen up your vocabulary,
That's
and
right.
there's so much value in books that you're not gonna
Mhm.
see on Google. That you're not gonna see. And
Exactly.
we've got so lazy in our adult. That's just my perspective in our adulthood. To where we don't
Yeah.
read no more. We're skimming. We're doing all this, but there's
Mhm.
value in reading. Like
Yeah.
what?
100%.
Honestly, I got books here. Look, I'm talking all that mess. I got books. I got books over here. I have not finished yet, but
And that's okay.
because you said that, like that really reminded me. Because when I was reading it, I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm learning something new. I'm
Yes,
pouring into myself."
exactly.
Read books, y'all. She said it.
The future you will thank you 100%. And then, like, I like that
Yes.
you spoke on expanding your vocabulary. You know what? Even the way that I talk, I kind of give like preppy, ooh la la. But
Yeah.
you know what? Reading books, one thing that I do, I have a separate notebook where if I come across a word that I don't know, I'll actually go Google the definition and write
I
it
do
down.
too.
So
Yeah.
one word that I I love so much, but I've never been able to use yet is ladder. And ladder just means the second one. So someone will be like, Philly, should I get the pink one or the red one? I'm like, the ladder. Just because I know what it
Okay,
means.
because you can do it. Just because you can. I know that's
Like,
right.
girl, the ladder. And they're like,
Yes.
okay.
They were like, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Yep, just because you can.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
Okay.
good. But yeah.
I love it. I love it. And before we close out, you guys,
Yes.
we have to give Miss Philly the floor and let you manifest. What are you claiming and what are you receiving in year of 2024, baby?
So one thing that I claim for sure is promotions. I am actually in a space where I am trying to like plant my flags in different provinces. So I'm leaving it in God's hands. This has definitely been a year where let go and let God. And obviously, if you're somebody that's very spiritual, if you can't physically see things, that's where doubt comes. And I understand and I get it. So that's my claim. I just want to be able to just be able to say things, leave it in God's hands, and just know that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
nothing's a competition, you know? What am I receiving? Honestly, nothing but love. Like, I
Okay.
think there's so much love to spread, and that's all I want for me, anyways. I really am not a fan of like Debbie Downers. Like,
Oh no, me
I don't work
either,
around that.
girl.
And
Move
like, one thing
around.
that I like to tell my clients is, I'm sure you guys are like familiar with SpongeBob. He's honestly somebody that I like to carry that type of
Yep.
aura where, he's happy to go to work. He's happy to
Yep.
be outside. He's
And he
happy to
keep
be in these
going.
streets. Yes. And people would say it's silly to like use the SpongeBob analogy, but it's like, you know what, just growing up as a kid and just seeing how proud he is just making a regular burger, I like to exude that in my work. So
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of claiming, nothing but abundance of opportunities. Again, I want to be able to like grow my income in so many ways that I honestly can't even imagine, and I just want to receive nothing but love. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
picky.
baby, it's happening because you spoke it. It's out in the universe and
It's
God
gonna
heard you, baby.
go, yes.
We got it, girl. Your hands open. You receiving it. You
Thank
receiving
you.
it, honey. That part. And you guys, so let us know how we can follow you and how
Yes.
we can stay in tune with you and what you got going on, Miss Philly.
Yes, sure. So my Instagram handle, like we mentioned again, it's Motherly Instinct Leading Finance. All you gotta do is just type in Motherly Instinct and I'll come up. You'll see me in my little blazer set. Um, otherwise as well, if you want, I can just send you my like my page or something and I'll just repost whatever.
Okay.
But it's just as simple as that. Like my great form of communication is usually through Instagram. I don't really use different platforms. If you guys are email savvy, my handle is info@motherlyinstinct.com. But I'm very much an Instagram girl, yes.
Yes, honey. And baby, her giveaway starts tomorrow, day 2. So you guys, make sure if y'all want to be blessed with the knowledge, more knowledge from Miss Philly, baby. What are you doing, baby? You better be tagging people tomorrow and follow my girl, Motherly Instinct Finance. Okay.
Oh, let me write it down. Yes, let me type it here for you guys.
Yeah, put
Motherly
it in the chat.
info
Oh, look, I'm gonna
at
pin. Yep, and I'm gonna pin it.
motherly. Okay, info at
Y'all sound like a
motherly.
man. All this coughing.
Wait, so what happened? How did you catch your cold?
Girl, I don't even know. Oh, you know what? I went to the gym. I haven't went to the gym in a while. And look, that's the devil trying to get me. I'm trying to. I said, let me get fit. I'm trying to get fit. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
As soon as I went to that gym, girl.
But you know what? I think you should look at it like you going to the gym forced you to sweat out the toxins, and now you're just removing it in a better form. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh,
You're getting rid of all
wow.
the yucky.
It's all about perspective, huh? Come on. There it is. Hey, guess what? I'm going to this new workout class tomorrow with one of my castmates. So
Nice.
I'm gonna be sweating it out. I'm gonna sweat out all this yuck.
Sweat out all the yucky, all the toxins. We don't need it to follow you 2024. Yes.
And I'm about to pin this. All right, y'all. Let's get some questions in. If y'all have questions, we got Miss Philly here. And tomorrow, you guys.
Yes.
Tomorrow we dropping her giveaway. We dropping
That's
our
right.
giveaway. Should we tell them what your giveaway is now, or should we wait?
Yeah, honestly, whatever's clever.
Okay, look, since y'all on here, y'all spend time. You guys spend time with us on here. We can go ahead and drop the jewels, baby. Go ahead, Miss Philly. Let them know.
So, I know I already had mentioned to you that I would give away a free consultation, but to the first person that does book their appointment with me, I'm more than happy to give them my budget sheets for free, personally. Yeah, they don't even gotta pay for it. I'm gonna give it to you for free. Because what's the point? I mean, 2024 is next month. Why not start now? Let's get our head in the game.
Get it up. That part. What y'all sleeping, boy? Y'all better wake up, baby. Tomorrow, baby, be the first one. Tag him and be the first one to book, baby. Because what? She dropping, giving you a budget sheet, y'all. Look.
Oh, how you book? So you can either book me through my email, or if you like, I'll drop my handle as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, like once I saw so many clients and I try to give them like a budget, I'm like, you know what? I need to find something that works. And you know what? I went out of my way as well. Like what you guys will notice if you do follow me is I have elephants in my logo. They're incorporated in my logo. So I felt like it was necessary to put elephants in my logo because I felt like
I love it. I love elephants.
I felt like it just tied to the whole motherly instinct that I already embody. And elephants, believe it or not, they're very intuitive. Very, very
wisdom.
intuitive.
They mean wisdom.
Yes. They can sense when you're a bad person. They don't leave no family behind. And you know what? Some are in Asia, some are African, right? And I feel like, you know what? That's a nice way to show somebody that I'm African if I just drop a little elephant on there. But I just feel like how it just embodied motherly instinct. Like it was just a no-brainer.
I love
just
it.
A no-brainer. Yeah.
And again, Philly being very intentional about everything. That's an advisor you want on your side, honey. That's somebody you want on your side. Okay, man. So Philly, I thank you so much for taking your
No
time
problem.
out, for
It
being
was
a part
my
of.
pleasure.
Girl, like I'm floored. Like, oh, sorry.
No,
I need to. I didn't even know you came with so much. Just, I mean, I knew you was amazing because
yeah,
you always like very talkative. You're very in tune and you're very in it. Whatever you're
yeah.
saying, you're in it. But I'm very just appreciative that you came on my 4th annual 12 Days of Giving and you're being
No
selfless
problem.
and blessing somebody for the holidays with your knowledge
Yeah.
and your
Oh,
gifts.
thank
Like,
you.
and then like, yes, Levi Moore, I surely will. I surely will. I surely will. You see what he's
I
saying,
mean,
huh?
guys, she'll tag me. So once you see that she
Yep.
tagged me, like, don't be shy. I welcome all new followers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
and I'm not somebody where you follow me and I don't act like I. No, listen. When you follow me, I'll follow you back because
Yeah.
it's a relationship. Like I said, I'm the mayor and you guys are my community, and I'm just trying to build a wealth of knowledge nation. That's it.
That
That's
part.
it.
Wow. Wow. You guys make sure to tune in. Follow her now if you're on this live, but make sure to tune in tomorrow for your chance to win all this beautiful blessings, a chance to win a free consultation with her.
That's
Dive in.
right.
And bonus budget sheet.
Budget sheets.
Okay. All right.
Renika, it was so awesome, girl. I wish I was in person so I could give you a big
I know.
hug.
I would want to just
One
hug
day
you.
we're gonna
Just,
link up. It's gonna
yes.
happen.
So I'll tell you what, whenever we cross that and go to
That's
Canada,
right.
baby, guess who I'm hitting up? Philly, where you at, girl? Because I got your number now.
I know.
But thank you so much. I want you to enjoy your
No
night. Tell the kids.
problem.
Give the
I
kids some
will.
kisses.
I will. Thank you. Thank you guys for
You
tuning
have a
in. You
blessed
guys have
one.
been amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, my love.
Bye,
You hear me?
toodles. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, that was awesome. That was
Yeah.
so awesome.
And look, I'm gonna have I have to, well, we on a live, but I'm gonna text you and let you know everything.
Perfect.
I love you.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you
night.
so much.
Love you.